Why fasting works. A story about your magical house. Imagine you live in a large, magically expanding house. You live here with your family, and the house has many refrigerators and pantries. One day, you receive your first grocery delivery with all of your favorite foods. And of course, you are very excited and ready to dig in. It contains bread, milk, cream, cheese, everything you need and want. You consume the amount of food you need at the time and store the rest. Each time you take in a delivery, insulin, your main storage hormone, is released. Insulin is important because after each delivery, your blood sugar goes up, which can be dangerous if it remains elevated. Insulin is what allows you to clear the sugar from your blood, or, in this case, consume the food from your delivery. But just 3 hours later, another delivery arrives. And since you haven't had time to consume the previous deliveries, you store this food too. Some goes into a fridge and some into a pantry. The older food gets pushed to the back of the fridge and pantry in order to make room for the new food. And wouldn't you know it, 3 hours later, yet another delivery. And this continues throughout the day. Now imagine repeating this pattern for decades. This is a hormonal issue. Every time you take in a delivery, your insulin rises. Insulin is your storage hormone. It tells your cells to store sugar and fat in your refrigerators, pantries, and deep freezers. If you keep getting deliveries every few hours, your insulin becomes chronically elevated. And at some point, every fridge and pantry is full of food. Some of it is untouched and some is leftovers. There is no more space for storage. You are now completely overloaded. This is what insulin resistance looks like. Too much energy coming in, not enough time to use what's already there. Moreover, the problem is not just one of storage. Insulin is also a growth factor. Chronically elevated insulin encourages growth, unwanted growth. If you continue taking deliveries every few hours, your house begins to magically grow new rooms on its own. Awkward, dark, unstable add-ons. These rooms are messy, filled with junk. No one uses them, and they drain energy from the rest of your home. Chronically elevated insulin equals unchecked growth and suppressed autophagy. Since autophagy is how you clean and repair your home, suppressed autophagy combined with unchecked growth leads to tumors, autoimmune issues, etc. And this is where fasting can help. You contact your grocer and ask them to pause deliveries. Pausing deliveries is just like starting a fast. With no new food coming in, you now can consume the food that is readily available and not stored away. As that food runs low and insulin levels begin to fall, you now can begin to consume the food you've stored away. At first, you consume what's easy to reach. These are the newest items near the front. This is like burning glycogen. Then, as time goes on, you start reaching into the pantry to get your long-term storage items. This is when you are grabbing stored fat and burning it for energy. It takes time to access stored fat. Refrigerator equals glycogen, short-term storage. Pantry equals fat stores, longer-term storage. Once you have fasted for 16 hours, insulin is pretty low, and you make decent progress using up some of the stored food. At 20 hours, you've had time to make your way to items further back in the fridge and notice some spoiled or expired items. Now, you can take these items out of the fridge and throw them away or recycle them. This is autophagy. But you can only do this if you stop the constant deliveries for long enough. Now, at 48 hours, the cleaning crew shows up to deep clean your fridges, removing mold, mildew, and other waste. They scrub out mold, clean up spills, and repair what's broken. This is deep autophagy and cellular repair, reversing damage and improving function. And at this point, you finally reach the basement freezer, the one you forgot about. The freezer is where you store visceral fat. It is buried deep, it is dangerous, and you must clear it for the sake of your health and longevity. However, some fridges are too far gone. Rotten, moldy, beyond saving. But once you reach 72 hours, your crew will toss out the old, dysfunctional, mildew-stained refrigerators and install brand new ones. That represents stem cell regeneration, replacing old, dysfunctional cells with fresh, healthy ones. Many people today suffer from delivery addiction, getting and consuming food every few hours, even when they're not hungry. Fasting, however, breaks that cycle powerfully. Then, eventually, you should resume deliveries. This is when you break your fast. But now you mindfully manage your deliveries, careful what you order and consume within each daily window. This is time-restricted eating, or as I like to call it, treating, because you're treating your body right. Treating means choosing a daily window to eat and giving your body long, restful periods to clean, repair, and reset. Note that you don't need to deep clean every day, just like your house doesn't need daily deep cleaning. But a 48 or 72-hour fast every month helps to keep your house functional and beautiful and running smoothly. And you must understand that fasting isn't starvation. Starvation is the involuntary deprivation of food. Fasting, however, is voluntarily abstaining from food in order to allow the body time to clean and repair itself. It is, quite simply, house maintenance. And treating yourself is all about using daily time-restricted eating, limiting the window of time in which you consume food. This is how you make your house a home and keep it running beautifully every single day.